You know, when I started this podcast almost a year ago, almost like the end of March a year ago, I thought that we would get in and just explore some things about astrology and do it from a light, fun-hearted, playful perspective. And that's what I set out to do. And I wanted to do it daily because I thought people might just enjoy waking up and taking a look at the energy of the day. And, you know, we made it through all of the planets, all of the fast-moving planets. Do you remember last summer when we had Mars and Venus and Mercury and the sun, of course? And that was in the summer, right, when summer was Cancer season. And the moon came through, and we got through all of that, although there were definitely some tense moments as it was all opposite the big stellium that already had formed in Capricorn. And we made it through the transition of Jupiter from Sagittarius to Capricorn. And we made it through Saturn-Pluto. And remember, I was saying last fall that I didn't think that the event of Saturn-Pluto on January 12th was going to be that big of a deal. And now we have this. And there was another thing, and I'll tell you what, I am really, really trying to find the positive side of this stuff in the chart. I'm trying to let the chart say, here, breathe, there's hope. But I think what we have here is more of a big macro influence in the global perspective. And the world is under an influence that is being either governed by the stars or reflected by the stars, whichever way you want to look at it. But it's big, macro, world-like energy. And then we have little triggers. So if you listened yesterday and I was sitting there looking at that chart wondering, what am I going to open this microphone up and say? And realizing that, I mean, one of the things was it could be a tough day in the markets. Do you remember that? And 3,000 points. So I think what we have little triggers amongst a big picture. And the bigger picture that I talked about last night on a live Facebook Live deal on my Subconscious Mind Mastery Facebook page, we took a look back at more detail than I ever have before of the history of the two prior Saturn-Pluto conjunctions. We went all the way back to the 1200s and the 1500s, and we brought it forward to today, and we kind of rolled it out as to what it might look like going forward. So if you missed that, you would like to hear it or see it, you'd go to the Subconscious Mind Mastery Podcast Listeners Facebook group. It's a private group. All you have to do is just ask to join, and then the video will be there, and you can see it was about an hour long. I mean, if there was some big bright spot in this chart, believe me, I would be all over it. In fact, there's the opposite, because it came to my attention last night, and I had just completely overlooked this. But we have, what I've talked about in the past a couple of times, the Moon Wobble. Remember, I've told you I've found this guy that really advocates the Moon Wobble? And there's not a lot about it, but basically it happens about every 88 days. And it has nothing really to do with the moon except the nodes of the moon. It's when the sun is either conjunct the nodes or at a square to the nodes. And we are approaching the square. The square will be next Monday, the 23rd. So the nodes will be at 3 degrees Capricorn and Cancer. The sun will be at 3 degrees Aries. Now, this person advocates that the wobble, and there's no wobble to it, but this period of effect begins 21 days prior, so that puts it back to March 2nd, and it goes for 7 days after that, puts it at March 30th. So basically, the entire month of March has been under this moon wobble. How's it been working out for you? And this guy has quite a history of tracing this and advocates that things that happen during this period are just calamity and catastrophic. Well, you know, we've joined here in Dallas a very long list of cities across the country that have closed all the restaurants. And I still say that the action versus the threat ratio does not add up in my mind. And I'm seeing more and more people say that this doesn't make sense to them. And I totally agree. I don't think it makes any sense at all what's going on right now. There is something else that we don't know. But what we do know is we have a moon wobble, and we have Mars and the moon in Capricorn, The moon will be in Capricorn all of today and basically all of tomorrow, and then it goes into Aquarius at 9:15 p.m. tomorrow night. And then, of course, late Thursday evening, it'll be at 11:42 p.m. Eastern Time, New York time, the sun moves into Aries, the vernal equinox. So for today, there's a lot on the plate. I mean, we've got day 2 of moon in Capricorn. Mars and Jupiter are moving into a conjunction position. They're already there, but the exact conjunction will be on Thursday, actually. We've got the moon wobble. We've got Saturn getting ready to move into Aquarius. And I was looking at this the other day. The nodes of the moon change signs in early May. So we're in the last few weeks of them being in Capricorn Cancer. I think that is a sign change worth looking forward to because they move into Gemini Sagittarius. And we should get some relief from that. Because remember, if you go back just the nodes of the moon, if you just look at the nodes of the moon, you go back, you've got 9/11, you've got the JFK assassination, you've got the Watergate break-in. All of that stuff happened during the nodes of the moon in Capricorn Cancer. So, you guys, we've just got some energy. And I don't know. I mean, I thought I was going to be the cheerleader of the chart, and now I'm just having to be realistic and pragmatic. And what I don't want to do is be Pollyanna and be one of these, oh, everything's just going to be great, when we do have challenges. I will tell you this. We were shopping yesterday, and Majana's dad, who crossed over almost 4 years ago now, showed up as we were pushing the cart through the aisles, and all of a sudden she just teared up. And she said, oh, my dad just showed up. And I asked her, I said, what did he say? And she said, he said to get ready. But that in the end, it would all be okay. And it was very touching. And I've had my family show up too. So it's like we will all get through this together. Tell you what, as long as I can fire this little board up and do this podcast, you'll be hearing from me. So we will get through it. All right? Be flexible and be safe. Please take this seriously. I'll see you again on Hump Day. Have a good Tuesday. Bye-bye.